Hey, so I'm Joshua Lawrence with Lawrence Builders, and today we're here with Petia. Petia, tell them about yourself.
Hi, I'm Petia. I'm an investor, now developer. I'm doing a lot of real estate investing for quite a long time, but mainly focusing on fix and flips and also fix and hold. So we do also have a lot of rental properties. This is our first project doing is a new construction, and we're very lucky to have Josh as our builder and contractor to do this project for us, and it's awesome first experience for me coming from a different area from the business, being focused on the fix and flips before. So this is a single family residential property. It's 2 bedroom plus a studio, office, or flex room. So it's the 2 full bedrooms with the in-suite. Also, we purchased the land with the plans already, so from MLS. So we did not have to do the additional 2 or 3 months of legwork to go through architectural, engineering, planning, permitting to get all that done. So pretty much as soon as we closed on the land, we hit the ground running and we started with the new construction.
Yeah. Josh, would you recommend someone buy land with the plans already? I'm sure that's more expensive than buying it off market. What are your thoughts on that?
So you will save doing all that legwork yourself, finding your land, getting your plans separately. But someone that does that for you, they're gonna put their fee on it, but it's easier for the client to just say, hey, I have land, I have plans, and just give that to your builders to give you a cost of building, get started from there. So it's quicker for the investor, but you'll spend a little bit more doing it that way.
Do you want to add anything to that?
I would say for a first-time person, I would rather have it already done. We still have to go through a lot of hurdles for like permitting with some of our utilities, but with somebody that doesn't have any experience in the process, I would probably recommend get the plans. There is offset to that you cannot make really like any changes to the plan. If you do, you have to go back to permitting again. But it's a lot to know in the process. So for somebody just starting up, and if you have a person to walk you through it and tell you that, yeah, you can go ahead and do everything on yourself. But if you don't have the backhand to support or somebody that's been through that, perhaps I would recommend maybe buying the place, but it's a very kind of tricky deal because you don't know what you're getting. For what Josh is saying, normally yes, the process will be you get the land because you'll get a better deal on raw land, right? But then you spend whatever 2 to 3 months to go through all that.
Yeah.
You will have an idea normally what you want to put on it based on the dimension of the lot, but still to go through get all your architecture, like engineering, all your plans approved and permits. That's on average about 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So talk to us about how y'all found this plot of land. Talk about some of the challenges that y'all had with getting it.
So we took a lot of research. We did look at a lot of properties, and we actually did put some offers in like different areas. So we look at City Gas, we look at here, we look at a lot of on another side, the other side of like Fifth Ward also. It's just really looking at the market and doing all your research. Like I said, we did go probably a good like a month and a half or 2 months to get to find it. That was like just researching like pretty much like every day and looking at different options.
So when y'all purchased this land and y'all looked at the numbers then, was those numbers the same as when y'all finished the project, or was it way off? Or
we were a little bit off. It's just because we added a little bit of extra stuff.
Okay.
Like the gates we had, like we changed the stairs. So we did have a little bit of add-ons because, so for example, the automatic gate wasn't part of the original budget. But they are close to what we expected. So I do very conservative numbers. So like I do have quite a good buffer. That was fine. But to go back to original question, if we had spent the time to go through like permitting and bought the land a little bit cheaper than what it was like on average here, and spend like the extra money, I think at the end evens out with the time, right? Yes, you do pay a little bit extra for somebody to do the work for you, but it's a little bit of a balancing how you would take it as far as saving time, right?
Okay. Josh, what do you think are some of the best areas people should be looking at when it comes to land, or something they should be thinking about as they're doing their own research in the process?
Yeah, so my first initial thought is looking at the price. I put in under 50,000. So I want to stay less than 50,000 for land. I'm looking for the cheapest land. Staying away from certain areas, certain items when looking for lands, flood zone, if it's like on a busy intersection, corner lots. I stay away from certain areas, but I'm looking for the cheapest land. Those zip codes that's not really popular. A lot of people want to focus on the hot markets, but I'll go to a market that no one is selling in, no one is building in, and I'll go to those areas to start building, and that's when everybody else come and follow.
Are you ever worried about over leveraging in an area nobody's built in?
Never.
And that also comes with experience. So do like your research and so being going through a process.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing that I just want to add, like when we look at this project, we wanted to look at the utilities because before we look at other areas where you don't have any utilities, right? So you either have to do a well or something like that in more outskirt areas, not like in the city or something. But you normally build just in the city, right? You don't.
Yeah, so the City of Houston process is, I have that mastered, so I focus on City of Houston, but the suburbs, they say it's easier, less permitting. But yeah, I focus on what I'm good at, staying
So
within.
there's sometimes less infrastructure in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just what areas, so because there's a lot of areas that are developing more like outside like the city, like the central part, but you can run into that because we've looked at lots where you have to build a well. And the whole subdivision is like that. They're just not, what is it called?
Yeah,
You need like your infrastructure.
Yeah, your utilities, so your septic tanks, your water wells, and your, a lot of times they'll have maybe underground utilities in those suburb areas.
So if you buy land, you said 50K is a benchmark. Is that included if you're buying your plans along with the land? Like, I guess how much did y'all spend on this lot in reference to that?
So normally the practice is not to get it with the plans. But now I've seen more investors, what they do, like this particular person here, is when they'll get the land and they'll develop it to the point to be ready to build. We've seen quite a few like recently. So actually we're looking like another project in like City Gas that they replotted the land and it's really like ready to go. But I know that took time.
So how much would you recommend if somebody's doing that? What's a good price to pay for something like that?
You have to look at your market also, like what's your selling point. Because you know what's your construction cost per square foot based on the building. Because for the most part, like you normally build like one type of product. Like you don't go from this to like building like a 5,000 square feet like custom home. So you stay with the same product to say. So you know what your cost per square foot already. And then you can estimate like what your land is going to be based on what's your end selling price on the market.
Okay. Got
So
it.
it could vary 10, 20, 15,000, it just really depends.
Okay.
I mean, we normally look, when we start, so yeah, we do look at the land, but your first point is really going to be what's your market. So this is how we research it.
And the comps for land, or the area I look in, is $6 a square foot per land. So you can just check the sold comps within the last 30 days, 90 days on the sale price and how long it was sitting on the market.
Okay, love it. All right, so Petia, you spent a lot of time doing flips before you started this. What is some of the biggest difference between doing rehabs and new construction?
The permitting part, I would say, that's like for me. And then with new construction, you have more flexibility to design it yourself. A lot of times with the flips, unless you want to revamp the whole thing and change walls or move major engineering stuff around, like I would say the big difference.
New construction is, so you know what you're getting behind the walls, what you're getting with your framing. It's easier for me. A lot of people, it makes them nervous, but new construction, everything is new. So we don't have, if it's any problems, anything that's not right, you can go in and make a quick fix to it. New construction, everything is new with it.
Yeah, with the fix and flips, you really don't know what you're going to get. So we've always had surprises. So that's one thing. And sometimes it's good, most of the time it's bad. Because it's not, you don't normally, like Josh said, you don't see what's behind the wall when you start like tearing down stuff, yeah.
What would y'all say in terms of contractors? Do you need different types of contractors for rehabs and new construction?
So for me, like I've done it both ways, where we'll go and get like our own different trade subcontractors to do that, and we've done it with general contractors. So both times it's really a lot of managing, right? Even if you have a GC, you still have to stay on top of them because it's really up to them, like how good they manage their crews, right? Which Josh is awesome about that. So that's one thing I can say. Yeah.
So Josh, what's the difference managing your crews from project to project?
So with my crews, just knowing how long they're going to take, knowing what they're supposed to do, following their plans as close as possible. Any questions that they have, they reach out to me and trying to get those things solved as quick as possible. If they need additional materials, if something is not right or something doesn't look right on the plans, we can fix it as soon as we can. So having guys that understand the plans, understand what's supposed to be done, that's the key to managing that project and keep it going on schedule.
But also like the quality of work that they do, so you don't have to do any rework or changes after that. So it's more efficient and of course like saves you money and time.
Yeah. Okay. You guys built this project pretty quickly. What were some of the keys to avoiding delays?
So first of all, before we started, so like we of course discussed like the plans with Josh because this is what we had. So he did also have some input on that. So that helped, and also the communication. So Josh is great, and him being able to manage all his crews and keep on like the time schedule, that's detrimental to your project. But also he keeps a very good communication with us because if something comes up, so for example, we had the firewall thing with the inspector, so he was like on point to tell us, hey, inspector, come back with this, we need to do some things, so we need to redo this. So the communication is key also.
Josh, how do you navigate multiple projects at once? So if someone has their hands in maybe 5 or 6 projects, how are you bouncing from project to project and staying on time?
Yeah, I have a list of project numbers. So project numbers, the address, and each phase should, just going back to my saying, each phase should take 2 to 3 days to finish. I'm able to just schedule those different phases out with my guys and call them ahead of time, let them know, hey, next week we'll be finished framing, so I need you to start on electrical or plumbing, whatever phase it is in that project. And just keeping those guys rotating. I try not to start a project, too many projects at the same phase, like just say like foundation, and I'll space it out. So everything is, they'll jump from one house to the next.
So to go back, a very good management.
Yeah.
A very good organization.
Do you do that digitally? What was something you wish you would have known or somebody would have told you before you started?
For me personally, probably not. It's just because overall I'm familiar with the process. There was only a few things that I haven't experienced before as far as really like the permitting part. So and dealing with like the city of Houston permitting. But overall, I'm familiar with the process, right? I've just done it for quite a while. From like the practical standpoint, when you look at a wall or sheetrock or windows, it's not big of a distinction between if you're doing like new construction or flip. So you should know that if you've done enough to what to expect like from your contractors, right? One thing I will really recommend also, research and make sure that you get like the right person, because I think Kim went through, I don't know, we had 5 or 6 different ones. And it's good that I had a partner, right? So I've known people that started this on their own and did it on their own. More props to them. I do not do that. Having a partner that's done it before and is really open to share the knowledge is very helpful also, because I would really say that for something, Kim and Josh really held my hand, because especially again, the permitting process, I've never been through that. And it's a lot of output that they can give you. So that's one thing I would recommend, that do your due diligence and do your homework.
Would you recommend someone skip the rehab process? Like, do you think they should do rehabs before they start new construction? What do you think?
I started with rehab, so I always recommend doing a couple of rehabs before. Yeah. I've known some people that skipped the rehab and jumped straight into new construction, and they didn't have any guidance. They didn't get anybody to help them, and it took them over 2 years to finish a project. So I recommend doing a rehab and then jumping into new construction. And also it helps with financing. A lot of banks, they're not gonna lend just straight your first new construction. Like, it's real hard to get financing for new construction.
Some people are bold and they like to risk it. However, I would recommend to at least know the basics. At least you need to know what's a firewall, right? What's like a double pane window? What does it take? Like the actual like technical side, right? Like you're doing an island or you're doing cabinets, like the dimensions, so like how your like water heater is hooked up, like installation. So it will come with your experience. So I would also recommend to do like a few rehabs.
Gotcha. Josh, can you talk about the course and the benefit that will be if somebody is in that place where maybe they do want to skip the process? How will the course help them? Or if they have done new construction, they have done rehabs, how will this course help them get the basics of what they need?
Yeah, so with this course, we're gonna give you a guide to the steps that I use, the process that I use to do this new construction we want to be less than 6 months to do a new construction, and just following the same steps that I follow to get things complete. If you're going out of process, if you're trying to do paint before you have trim and doors in, or if you're trying to do cabinets before you have just certain phases of the project, yeah, it just prolongs the project. So having materials ordered before you need them, just say like valves behind the walls before you start putting up drywall. You want to have those things ahead of time and just following those steps and not waiting a week, waiting 2 weeks. Every week you wait, you're losing 7 days, 14 days. And if you have any rain delays, that'll push you back even more. So just having things ahead of schedule.
One thing I would add, like, listen to the people that know, right? So if you're just starting fresh and you don't know anything, so really listen to the people that guide you. Some people think that they know everything, and that kind of really will hinder you in certain ways. So if you're really ready to learn, listen to the person that's trying to teach you. Because not that many people do that, I will tell you that. They're very nice, like him and Kim are very nice, but they will hold your hand and they'll walk in, but not a lot of people will do that.